The sharing. Hi guys, I could really do with some advice on a really complex issue and would like to put my situation out there for you to advise. I have been with my wife for 14 years, married 6. We met when we were 18 and in 2018, we had our child who is now 6 years old. When my wife was 16, she had a relationship with an older man. She had very low self-esteem and came from a family background in which both parents had clinical depression. Our relationship went well up until about a year before my son was born, when she started to become quite disinterested in bonding with me, and my son was conceived on my birthday. In the year before my son was born, I noticed that she began to sleep a lot and would spend entire days in bed on the weekend and left me to do the majority of housework and decision-making. When my son was born, she found the experience of giving birth very traumatic and began to fall into a deep depression. She had and still at times has a crazed look in her eyes. We saw a specialist, but she said she felt judged and ended the sessions. As time went by, we fell into it of her sleeping most weekends and neglecting my son while I did the hard work, naps, feeds, pick up, drop off. She would occasionally organize a fun day out, but when we returned home she would become ill or tired, need to sleep. I cooked meals for her and my son. I would often come home from work around 9 p.m. and she would not have fed him or put him to bed. While she did not harm him physically, she was really neglectful, and at times would tell him once he began to speak that she wanted to kill herself. During this period her behavior got worse. She would end up in tears over the slightest, at times in front of my son, thing, and return to bed on weekends. However, she was always up to go to work on Monday morning. For the next 5 years this pattern would repeat, and she would continue to reject my advances, and at times due to the fact that she had very poor hygiene I became disinterested. Additionally, when she had her bad moments she would take it out on me. One occasion I stopped to get a coffee on the way to work. It took 2 minutes. She went into a tirade about her being late and it being my fault. This would happen most morning, at times in front of my son. She also had anxiety problems and became very anxious over being late for work. Somewhere in the middle of this realized that there was a problem, and I tried numerous times to counsel her, but it was never enough. Took her places she wanted to go, but she would always end up with her in tears and in an almost emotional, abusive and draining situation. My needs, be it emotional, physical, was bottom of her list. During this time I spoke to her parents twice and they ignored it, not in support of the marriage anyway. Mental health services. They advised that they had to have her consent and she refused. I began to feel burned out and exhausted and underappreciated for all I did in my efforts to support her and stick by her in the hope that it would get better. I am naturally a kind-hearted and decent person, and it takes a lot to get me angry or upset. However, things did not change, and we began to have some bad arguments as I felt she was doing the family a disservice. Now when she attacked me, I would attack back, and I called her a bad mother on a few occasions and told her that she was a mess. My tank was on empty. Around 3 years and she tried to take me to marriage counseling. I went to 2 sessions, but I felt that the counselor sided with her and did not have a true reflection of what was going on. The narrative that she had given to the counselor was that I was somehow neglecting her and just being an evil misogynistic man. The counselor bought it. Anyhow, last summer things got really bad and we had some very big arguments, which led her to move into my son's bedroom, stating that she wanted a divorce and that we should attend mediation. After 2 or 3 months of this, I convinced her to give the marriage another go and move back into our room, on the proviso that we got marriage and individual counseling. In January this year we started going to counseling, mainly individual but with a few joint ones too with the same counselor. Additionally, I organized several fun activities and found a babysitter, such a go-kart and luxury spa weekend, cinema, dinner, you name it, we did it. We got to around April and I began to notice that she had not organized one thing for us to spend time as a couple. Her phone was always protected and we had not had slept together since our split the previous summer. So, I got suspicious and started to notice that she would often look at guys while she was with me, perhaps to see if they were looking at her. I linked this to low self-esteem and did some snooping and found out that she had been having explicit dirty chat with a guy that she had met on an online game. They had sent pictures and videos of each other, some of which she sent while we went out on dinners. The last message broke me, in which they had agreed to meet. She actually took the day off work. Work is everything to her and the one thing she continues to do without breaking down. I had to beg her to take a half day for a recent spa day and went to meet him in his hotel. She denied it all at first. However, then she came clean, although she swears that when she got there she was so anxious and the situation was awkward that nothing happened. However, she stated that if she was not married that something may have happened. She is not very remorseful and is continuing to keep having conversations with him. My wife has now said that she wants to separate and divorce and has booked mediation again and moved back into my son's room. I feel lost and not sure if I should be fighting to save this for my son, as on the occasions that we do have good times, things can be good, and I know that it would break my son to see the family split. She says she wants to split fairly and know that I have been a major influence in my son's life and wants it to stay that way. I feel at a crossroads, not as devastated as this time last year, but confused as the situation is not straightforward and her mental health issues confuse things. I have stopped trying to reconcile and I am trying to use the emotional detachment technique as deep down I still want it to work, but I feel as if it has gone too far now. Please help. Comment. Unfortunately, your response to her continued abuse of you is not really healthy. You can't fix your wife, she has to want to do it. You can, however, fix yourself. You need to figure out why you have tolerated being in an abusive marriage for so long. You probably have no idea what has really been going on, but many times victims of ex-abuse end up acting out by cheating in very hurtful ways. There is one post on here whose wife is similar. I would bet money that this was not her first rodeo and there has been physical cheating before, including with this guy she met at the hotel. Please get some help for yourself. By the way, when you have been separated from this woman for a while, you will begin to realize what a terrible dysfunctional prison you have been in. You have given her what she wants. Even without the cheating, I would divorce. Add in the cheating, I would file and have her served at work. I would have her served at work as this appears to be the only thing important to her. List the reason as adultery and also name the Then if is married, exposed to his wife. After that, buy her a card. Inside write the following: I have given you all I can, and now I give you divorce as you wish. Begin the 180, only deal with her for your child. Your child will be better off if you divorce also. Just what do you think your child is learning a marriage is? Find someone else after divorce that will treat you the way you should be. OP responds, well, when her depression gets worse, she would not bath for weeks on end. Her personal hygiene now seems to be on the up, possibly because she is meeting new people. We are in an interracial relationship and her family have some old-fashioned views. I am coming round to the idea that I may not want to save things, as she shows no signs of wanting to end things and says that she no longer loves me in a physical way. I am probably going to perform a 180 with the hope of the best outcome, but if not, I will be ready and prepared for the end of my family as I know it. I hope your journey is not as long and painful as mine. My only advice would be to treat her sensitive. However, remember that you are only human and you need to have your needs met, also to seek professional help as soon as possible. I will be using it to detach myself and I have found it to be effective and already as a tool for myself. I wish I has implemented it sooner. However, I am a family man and if it can help and will bring back my family and reshape the future of my child, for whom I would make the biggest sacrifice, then I will not and cannot give up that slight glimmer of hope. I had wanted the perfect upbringing for my child, in the hope that my wife would sort out her issues, but you are right around the caring and respect for me and the cheating, and I can't take that anymore. I deserve better. I hope that it was a phase and that she would come round in the hope of actually trying to work at the marriage for our son. Life can be complex and people make mistakes. Realizing that you made mistakes takes time and clarity, none of which are present at the moment. But you have a point which I am starting to take on board. The marriage is over. At the moment things seem so complicated, sorting out finances, childcare, etc. We have started mediation and she has said that she wants it to be fair and in the best interests of our son. Still finding myself snooping around for clues, etc. As she seems to be walking around carefree, buying new bras, shaving her legs and doing her makeup at every opportunity and completely unremorseful or concerned about what this split will do to our son. I guess it's time to set myself free. The problem is I have been thinking so much about where it went wrong, the warning signs and the part that I played in the breakdown. But I firmly believe that you get what you give and she was giving me nothing. We were so good at one point, so strong, we built an empire together. However, in our last chat she said that she can't commit to the marriage at this moment in time. It all hurts so much. My comment: DNA the kid, meet with a divorce lawyer, begin separating the finances, take her name of your cards, bills, etc. Get an STD check. Also, do all the spying stuff like planting voice recorders around her car in your bedroom. Your life kind of sucks now. It will continue to suck for a while. But if you are fully informed about what is going on, you can start to make better choices. Story 2. We have been married for almost 8 years, together on and off for almost 16. We broke up for a couple years after I discovered he was taking his videos and photoshopped the face of a woman we both knew onto the scenes. I was devastated, moved out and didn't see him for years. We married after we reconnected and were both more mature, and I really did not regret giving the relationship another chance. He is a beautiful, brilliant and talented man. Fast forward to last week, the PC in the main room crashed. I repaired it and found an online live chat site. This is beyond dirty videos in my eyes. This is an online place to hook up and then who knows. I confronted him and said, you can come clean or I can reverse delete the last 6 months of the PC. He said it was a mistake, he shouldn't have gone there, etc. He didn't do anything, just watched and he's sorry. He loves me and wants to be with me. Blah, blah. I said this isn't porn. He said nothing. I said you are not honoring your vows. He said I didn't cheat on you and I am not going to rehash this. What the hell? My daughter, whom he has raised since she was 6, came over to do taxes and said, the computer in the front room is unplugged, and went into the library to use my PC. I helped her, we had dinner and she went home. When we were alone, I asked why he unplugged the PC and he informed me that he had destroyed the hard drive. Because of all the bad what? I was stunned. Now I know for sure he is hiding something, and he has destroyed the evidence. We haven't spoken for a week. I have tried and he stonewalls or repeats the official story. It is so sad to watch this unfold, but I am lost and fear the end has finally really come. I have given up trying to talk and have gone dark. This morning I got a message that said I love you, but I am unmoved. I don't believe him. I have gone dark, but the problem is, I really don't know what I want. Obviously, I wanted to be married. Now I feel like I am losing my marriage to something that I can't name or identify. I feel like a total fool for trusting him. I have loved him for so long. He will be home from work soon and we will have another night of darkness and silence. Almost everything in this house is mine. But I am a SAHW and have been putting all my time into helping with his business and taking care of my mother after her surgery. Last year it was taking care of him after his surgery. We have tons of stuff that is mostly mine. There is no way I can move out. When I married him, I had a good job as a software developer. Now my whole life revolves around him. It will be hard to unravel. Since daughter has moved away to school, I was thinking of going back to work anyway, but his business has taken off more than expected. I guess he got the better end of this deal. It's been 6 years since I worked. It will take a bit to get back in the game. And he just got a huge promotion at work that I helped him prep for, even going through his final round interview practices with him. I should have been doing all that for myself. I know I shouldn't be negative, but man, what a letdown. I know what I can do. I have a good education. Great job history, high salary history. I am just sick and exhausted and an emotional mess. And I know have to be way more together to work in a rapid programming environment again. Right now, I don't even have a freaking car. I was just going to start selling off stuff in the house on Craigslist and put the rest in storage, move out and file a D. I just feel like I messed up. I was just devastated and confronted him too early. He beat me to the hard drive and destroyed all traces of what he was up to. But not before I found his online live chat session cookies. Under each webcam thumbnail is a status that says if they are seeking men, women, couples, monkeys, who knows. I feel like I will never know how far he's really gone, if he actually ever hooked up in real life or even how long this has been going on. And with each passing day, I just look at him thinking, really? While I was going to take care of my mom, who had just gotten out of ICU, you were out searching for my replacement on live sites, where we can masturbate while chatting online. What? And you were perfectly happy living like this, while I have to run around and take care of everything. And we would still be living like this if he wouldn't have got a porn virus on the main PC. I just feel like I honored my vows and he has not. I don't even see him the same way anymore. I know I need to get a post up that says I have been a devoted wife who has suborned her career to help build his business and further support his advancing corporate career, and am entitled, in event of divorce, to remain in the house and receive 6 months of spousal support. I just can't get over the fact that he acted one way with me and then was a completely different person when I was gone or asleep. He lied right to my face and still is. I know he feels bad, but I don't care. He's known what all this time was up, and I just found out, and I don't even know what the real truth is. Here's where it stands. I am getting a post-nup together. His crappy attitude is finally gone and he seems remorseful. He's going to IC starting next week, but we are in different rooms and have zero closeness. It feels strange, very strange. I have no idea how long it will go like this. I can't imagine sleeping in the same bed or being intimate with him. I feel sick when I think of it, and it really doesn't matter how far he went. I love him and wanted to share my life with him, and I still love him. But I can't get this giant hole in my heart to go away. I feel like it just caved in. He gave me a card that said, "My barn having burned to the ground, I can now see the moon." In it he writes that he will work as long as it takes to restore our marriage, that it is the most important thing in his life. But I feel so strange, like our marriage wasn't real to him. And it has been my whole life for almost 8 years. I told him I want a divorce. He just laughed and said, "Go ahead." I told him to leave. He said, "I'd like to see you make me," just laughed, and I pushed him, screamed at him, slapped him and told him to stop laughing and to leave. He was drunk, laughing, saying "make me" over and over. It was terrible. We went to bed in separate rooms again and he is not talking, refuses to leave, etc. It's bad, bad, bad. Everything in this house is mine. I am not working and cannot move out right now. He has a great job and only a few things that belong to him. He could easily call someone and get moved with one trip in a car. I would have to sell everything or put it in storage in order to leave. A big part of me just wants to leave, like I can see why there is such a thing as walk-away wives. But I lose everything, my washer and dryer, office, bedroom, library, and a music room that I built the staging for, and I own all the instruments from before we married. My piano, God, I would die without being able to play. But it's just material things. I could just walk away and start over, let him deal with moving, getting rid of everything. Am I only a slave to my possessions? I could take what I really need, my clothes, etc., and just go, have him served and be done. It's only that I want to keep my home that I am suffering. If I walk away and breathe and let it go, I would be free. I sit in the library of my house all night, every night. He is either silent or makes small talk. We didn't speak all weekend after a big blowout on Friday night. Sunday right before bed, he wanted his ring back, said he didn't want our marriage to be over, blah, blah. Now it's weds, still no talking. Maybe he thinks this is helping, but it's not. I really don't want to leave my house, but I can't take the silence forever. I'm sure he only wanted the ring back so he would have it for work, so he wouldn't have to tell anyone we are separating. I'm sure it would look very bad for him if he said he was getting a D after just taking a promotion recently. I found an online form that will print a legal separation agreement for both parties to sign and file with the court. I really want to do this, but he has to agree to sign, and I don't think he will do it. I sent him a text and asked if he is planning on contesting the paperwork, that I can have it done by the end of the week if he agrees. No response. Well, last night I came out of the library and made the last of the food in the fridge before it went bad. He said, "What are you doing?" I told him I was tired of throwing away food because he didn't feel like talking. When I was done, I took a plate into the library to eat alone and shut the door. The last 2 times I have cooked we ate in silence in the same room. So, he knocks on the door and wants to know why I don't want to eat with him, and I snapped, "Why do you do this? The last few times I have, you didn't say one word. I am tired of being ignored by you. I would rather just eat by myself." Well, this started a big discussion and it just isn't working out. He doesn't get it. Then he said, "I need a break, nothing productive will be accomplished tonight." I was livid. You need a break. You have been dishing out the silent treatment for a month. You've had more than enough of a break. I told you what I needed to stay, you are not stepping up. Now he's saying he wants the post-nup and he wants to go to counseling. We can talk more tomorrow. What the hell? Why doesn't he get it? I need him to talk to me. I need him to give a damn. I know I am begging my head. I know it should be easy, but it's just hard because whatever I do, he seems to do the opposite. Whatever I say, he says no, that's not true. I was so exhausted last night, I said, "Don't you realize this? That we are not on the same page about anything?" No answer. He just said, "We need to take a break from talking now." Back to the silence. Woke up this morning, and still no anger. Not much has really changed, except for my perspective. My frame of mind. I feel like there's so much room now, so much space. Like the craziness in my mind is gone. No more agony about the trickle truth and blame shifting. No more wondering about the details, the lies, the minimizing, the betrayals. No more asking questions, feeling uncomfortable trying to talk to each other. Last night, he just wanted to crash and watch a show on TV. Usually this would make me livid. Now I just accepted it, that's what he chooses, it's okay. It won't restore our marriage, but it is what he wants after a really long workday. So, great. I know I have changed. I know he most likely will not be able to do the work for R, and frankly, I have realized that I don't want to do it anymore. Trying to patch up the holes in our marriage with band-aids when what it needs is CPR. I don't feel like I'm giving up, just accepting it and moving on. Realizing I don't need him to R for me to be okay. Went out for a long walk in the pouring rain and felt exhilarated. No one else was out. If they were running into their houses. I looked at all the houses and grounds, wondering which features I really wanted in my new home. A garden, a fireplace, a dog. A week later, my husband and I are going to hammer out what we need to have for our on Saturday. Originally, I was just going to give him my terms, but I now feel we both need to say what we need to move to R, as I see our marriage is completely broken. I am not sure if he will agree to my terms or not, but I want to be very clear and direct. I have to move to R or D. I will no longer live in limbo, and I certainly won't live with half-hearted efforts. I want to end it with love if he can't agree. My problem is that, in the recent past, it is his habit to agree with me and then do what he wants behind my back. So obviously that is my fear going in. Anyway, still not angry today, which is a relief. My emotional independence seems to be sticking around. Had the R talk, put my requirements on the table. He agreed to all of it, even the amended separation agreement, which I wanted one more concession included, that I would retain the option to stay or leave in the marital home. I don't know why this was important. I guess I didn't want to have to stay just because I am the BS. So, I got all the terms I wanted, and he is being an angel. But I feel so reticent, very wary. I knew I needed my terms or I would be gone. But it just feels strange. I don't feel the same. I feel like focusing on my own life, not the marriage. Is it bad? Is this what is supposed to happen? Well, I went to the doctor today because my back problem has been keeping me from being able to do my normal coping strategies, piano, sitting meditation, yoga, walking a mile a day, etc. Healthy stress relief has been out of my reach because my back pain is so debilitating recently. I have to come home after a few blocks and lay down. So, I am in the doc's office and it is going fine till they ask me the usual woman questions. How many partners do you have? I say, 1, my husband. Then they say, how many partners does your partner have? And I just broke down, started crying, and said, to be honest, I don't know. She asked, what makes you say that? So, I told her I found my H was going to hook up sites a few weeks ago, that he had been recovering from major surgery. So, he can't physically go out and cheat. He is home every night, etc. But these kind of sites you can meet someone, and they can come over and take care of you. When I asked him to come clean, he said nothing happened. It was all just online. He never met anyone in real life. That's what he told me. Then a few days later, he destroyed the hard drive, so I will never know. All of a sudden things got deathly serious. She sat down. We talked about AIDS, we talked about STDs, we talked about anxiety and depression. For a half hour, I cried the whole time. She left and another doctor came back in with her. They did not order pain meds or imaging for my back. They said I can't have any narcotics if I am depressed. I got even more upset. 6 years ago, they ordered imaging and gave me meds and I was pregnant. I said, why do you think that I am depressed? She said because I had been crying the whole time I was there. So finally, I said, so I can't get help for my back, so I can cope with all this anxiety with natural stress-relieving activities, because my husband may have cheated on me. I know, you can't give someone who has major depression enough pills to kill themselves. I come from a family with medical professionals, but this wouldn't have happened if I wasn't having marital problems. I think this is how any wife would respond, not major depression. No change in the response. After 2 months of arguments, silent treatments, trickle truth and gaslighting, my H finally admitted that he had cheated in his online escapades. No more minimizing and deflection. He said, this was wrong and stupid. He was cheating. I need to grow up and work these problems out without bringing hurt into our marriage. I would have been so angry had you done this to me. I am sorry. I wish you could find a way to forgive me. But first, he has never asked for forgiveness. I did not reply. So, what now? I really didn't think this would happen. I have been steeling myself to move on, becoming emotionally independent, accepting that his choices were up to him, taking care of myself and spending time with family. Now I have a fear that I will get pulled back into the marriage that didn't work, losing myself again to the reset button. Months later, I realize I love him and I am making sure I have given every chance because it is my vow. If I do, there will be no going back. We have MC sessions with each other twice a week, just the two of us at the dining room table, alone. We have kept with these times almost every week since I gave him the paperwork. They have been painfully honest and emotional sessions at times, but long overdue. I can live this way as long as we are making progress, no longer fighting and he is taking ours seriously. I don't want to force anybody to do anything. If he doesn't want the marriage, he can file, but he can't ignore the problems or go outside the marriage to solve them. I told him I am okay if he wants out and I am not going to fight for the marriage he does not seem to want or respect any longer. I can honestly say I care about him as a person and want the best for him even if that means our life together may be at an end. I have sort of been backed into a corner. At this point, I will be forced to file if he checks out emotionally again, or if the official story, nothing happened offline, turns out to be a lie. I've had a full STD panel and he is being an angel and you know the story. I refuse to hit the reset button, though. I just can't. I am shaking. I can't take anymore. I finally told H I can't stand it anymore. He is still maintaining that he does not know why I am freaking out. I started packing and started taking pictures of my prized piano to sell so I could have enough money to leave. I was crying and telling him, if I have to sell this because you refuse to leave, I will resent you for the rest of my life. No, I will hate you. He told me to stop complaining and finish packing. This was it for me. I told him he agreed months ago that I would decide who leaves the house, and I want him to leave. So, he said, well, then I have 30 days. I said fine and walked away. My heart is beating out of my chest. I can't stand this. 16 years and 9th year of marriage. This really hurts. Half a year later. Tonight, my WH and I were arguing and this is after a year of after I found out his online affairs for months. He destroyed the PC after I found out, so I have no way of knowing the extent of how far he went. Yes, I did have an STD test and we have not been intimate since. Anyway, he went into the bedroom and told me to get out and leave him alone. We argued more and then he got up and said get out and pushed me out. I was livid after that and told him not to touch me again. I am recovering from a broken humerus 4 months ago. He came into the room I was in and I told him if he put his hands on me again, I would call the police. He did. Then, he just laughed and said go ahead, they will just take you away with a huge grin. So, I called, and they just took him away. I am lost. I know he will never forgive me when he loses his job. I don't want to go to a women's shelter. I just want a divorce. I really loved him and I know this is probably the end. I worked for a year to try and reconcile and now I'm just afraid. A year later, I left the house. I have tried everything, all wrong. I know I should just pull the plug, but every time I think of divorcing, I start crying. I don't know how to move on. He keeps saying he didn't want me to leave. It will all be my fault if I go forward and serve him. At this point I am not sure if I care if I get blamed anymore. Go ahead and blame me for throwing all those years away, even though I was the loyal one. I just left because I know I need to focus on not being a mess anymore. Our 10th wedding anniversary is in less than 2 weeks. It's bringing me back down. We always planned on having a big party so my family could celebrate with us because they couldn't be there for our wedding. We made no plans because we have been dealing with the fallout from this because I haven't been able to get past this. Our deal was that I was going to be gone for the month of March so I could focus on getting back to work. He said it was okay if that's what I felt I needed, but it's not what he wanted. I go back home to have dinner with him on April Fool's Day. I don't even know what I am going to say except I never want to go back to the way we were living before. I am still in love with him but can't get past the anger. It's taking me a long time to get through the stages. I stayed in disbelief and shock for a while, then pleading, then just pitiful behavior. Like I said, I did everything wrong. I don't care how embarrassing it is for him anymore. He's not the one who found me doing that. And his excuse was, I didn't hook up my webcam. Well, once you destroy the computer, am I supposed to know that? I saw his sessions going there for months and he acts like what I saw wasn't real or something. I don't know how to go forward in this marriage. He just emailed me and told me if he moved out and got a new phone, I wouldn't be nice to him or be asking him to come home. No, if I was the one who failed to restore our intimate life a year after cheating with guys on the internet who wanted to show me their ex all day, while he lived in a non-physical marriage and had to take care of me after several surgeries, I would be gone in a river somewhere. I'm done with him. My comment: you're losing self-respect and dignity through this and it's time to be selfish. Look out for you and leave him in your wake. Listen, some have already said, take control now. You do not have the excuse of not being able to do that.